Here, we will always expect him to start pushing my knee down like this, and he'll create a little bit of a pocket of air underneath his armpit. So I'm just going to straighten my arm here, my right arm behind his arm. I'm grabbing his upper arm here and pulling it towards me. As I'm pulling it, I'm going to now let my knee slide off of him. So I'm going to pull him onto his side here, right? Once he's on his side, I've exposed his back here. This allows me now to step over with my left leg. So I'm just going to use my free hand to push his head away if he's in the way. So I can step over, bring my knee down, and slightly pinching my knees together to keep him on his side. Okay? Once I'm here, I'm just going to change the arms that's inside. So I'm going to bring my left arm through, right arm out, and grab his wrist with my right hand here. Okay? Imagine if I'm going to push his hand behind his back, I always want to have my hand on the front of his wrist. Okay? So I'm grabbing his wrist with my right hand here, and I'm grabbing my own wrist with my left. And now I'm going to use my whole back here to get his arm away from his body, right? A lot of people do this mistake where we're trying to use our arms here, which are not strong. So I'm really connecting my chest to his elbow, using my glutes, using my back, pull his arm away from his body, and then bring it on his back, right? On top of that, you can even try pointing his elbow slightly away from his body, which will make his arm even weaker, okay? So you're pointing a little bit away, and there you go. On the top, here, side control, post away his legs, bring my knee on the inside. He creates this little pocket of air, and grabbing his upper arm, pull him onto me while I'm sliding my knee off of him so he can go onto his side here, okay? Exposing his back, I push his head down, step over, pinch my knees, switch my arms, grab his wrist, grab my own wrist, and now I can start working on the back. If he's holding it tight, use your whole back here and your glutes to pull his arm away, and then bring his arm up. Okay? 1, 2. Bring his over to me, I switch to the Kimura, and now we're here, okay? So the first thing I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna switch to a palm grip, okay? So my hand on his wrist slides down to his palm, okay? Meaning I'm right underneath, let's say the pinky here, right? And I'm gonna give this grip to the other hand, right? Now this grip is actually pretty good because it keeps his hands close to his chest, and now if he tries to push it away and break it, it's pretty difficult. If I was grabbing his wrist with the same arm, it's easier for him to break. So try to really bend his wrist backwards with his palm grip here and keep it tight. Now I've created a temporary hold as I'm freeing this arm to do other jobs. So now I want to save my way to throw my leg over, okay? So the worst situation that can happen here is that I can get caught in a half guard as I'm throwing my leg over. So I'm going to use this free arm now to push his leg down, and I'm moving my weight slightly to the side behind his back, okay? Watch how I'm pulling his arm as I'm going here to my side, and because all of my weight is on this leg becomes light, and so it's easier for me to throw this leg over, right? So as I'm throwing this leg over, I'm going to let go of his palm, and I'm going to catch my own thigh, right? So I'm letting go of his palm, and I'm grabbing on top of my thigh as deep as possible. You'll also see I'm trying to catch his wrist inside the tip of my knee here, right? Now, as I catch his wrist here, I'm just going to let my foot slide to the side here, and I'm going to post with my free arm and free leg, and there we stop for now, right? So, coming from the Kimura position, I'm giving myself the palm grip here first. Now using the free arm to remove his legs from the equation, and I'm pulling myself to the side so I can now keep this leg over, okay? As I'm going over, I let go of his palm, grab my own thigh as deep as possible here, let my foot slide to the side, post on the floor, both my hand and my leg here, okay? So, a little bit faster. From the Kimura, give it the palm grip, push it, step over, there we are. 1, 2. You don't have to do the whole sequence, that's fine. Grab the palm, and kick the leg over, catch his wrist, and now we're in the position, okay? So, a lot of the times what you will encounter is that the arm is all the way in front of their belly, so it's hard for you to go through the belly pretty much. So, what I need to do is to extract his arm away from his body, and to do that, I'm using my free arm and my free leg. So I'm going to go and post this on the floor and post this on the floor, right? Now, with my free hand and my free foot, I'm pulling myself forward, but I'm still maintaining my weight on top of it, okay? So I'm kind of sliding out from his body, right? Now you'll see his hand is floating above the ground, And as I'm here, I'm gonna start rotating. So I'm bringing my foot further up towards his head, bringing my knee as well, and I'm pulling my elbow up towards the ceiling, okay? This creates the rotation in his shoulder, and I'm turning up towards the ceiling here on my side. You guys see that? Try to refrain from falling off of him, because now if he wants to sit up, he can come up. You guys see that? So I'm trying to maintain my weight on top of him as I'm doing this, okay? Here, pull myself a little bit forward, and then rotate while keeping my weight on top of his shoulder, okay? So, here, and we're in, okay? Step on the floor, hand out, pull myself away from his body, right? If you guys want a little bit of challenge, ask the person to hold on to something on the gi or on the belt, right? And then you're like, okay, I'm gonna pull myself away, let's see if I can get his arm free, and then I start turning, okay? Good, 1, 2. At this moment, I didn't manage to spread my base wide enough, right? I remained here with a slim base, and he started tilting me either backwards or forwards, okay? So if it's back, let's take backwards first. So you grab my belt, and he pulls me over, and we end up here, right? Fine enough, okay? Or if you go back, manage, boom. Another way is that he bumps me forward, and he comes into like a sit-up. There you go. We end up here, okay? Now, while I'm falling to the bottom position, it's important I maintain the wrist control. I'm always pointing his heel up towards his head, so that if his wrist is here, I can keep this inside the crook of the knee, right? My hand is still grabbing my thigh. I'm always making sure my hand is deep enough, or else I'll strain my wrist when I'm trying to finish him, and also when I'm trying to roll him as well, okay? Let's turn slightly this way. Please stay. Now, I'm going to talk about a little bit of a metaphor. This leg, think of it as raw spaghetti. You want to keep it straight all the time. It's always straight, okay? From my hip down to my toes, right? So, with that, now I have good pressure behind his head, and I can start forcing him to roll over, okay? I'm going to use this free hand here to slow him roll down, and this will also help him get up on the other side as well, okay? Now, as we're rolling, I'm going to start posting this foot on the floor. Watch how we're going to roll. I post this foot on the floor, so now when he falls, he doesn't fall on top of my leg, okay? So I'm free with both of my legs to move around. My left leg is behind his head, my right leg is stepping beside his ribs, okay? Now with this grip here, you could also grab the pads, that's fine enough. But with this grip here, I can pull myself up, right? As I'm pulling myself up, I'm turning my toes on my left leg down to the mat so I can turn my knee up and then push myself up to the top position again, okay? And now we're back where we started, and I can start finishing, right? When I fell down, I'm over here, okay? Same thing again. Right? So, grab his pants, keep his feet pointed up towards his head, stretching my left leg. Now, I'm turning him over to the side, forcing him basically to get the pressure on the shoulder, right? As we're rolling, I'm stepping on the floor here, and I can let him slide down beside my shin, okay? I'm pulling myself up. Watch how I'm rolling on top of my toes onto my knee here. So I'm bringing myself up onto my knee as much as I can. Then I post on the floor, and I bring myself up, and we're here to do the finish again, okay? 1, 2. Like, let's say, grabbing together his hands, pulling my hips off the floor. I've done something wrong long ago, right? So if I'm there, I need to disconnect his hands, bring my hips low, push my thighs down onto his biceps, so I can get back into bring my hips to the floor again, okay? Once I'm here, what I'm looking for is to bring my right arm here, now on the inside of my thigh, under this side here. Right? So I'm underhooking his arm on the same side, right? I try to keep my elbow nice and close to my hip bone, and I'm just pointing my hand up towards the ceiling. Now, if Nick tries to pick me up from the floor here, it's really hard because I'm hooking myself underneath him, right? Now, to reinforce this, I'm going to connect my hands palm to palm here. Just a simple clap grip here. Now, okay? Now I'm using my elbow, my free elbow, to push his head away so I can bring my left leg over his head, right? As I'm doing so, I'm going to pull his shoulder towards me, and this will create a little bit of a chicken arm here, so I'm bringing his elbow out to the side, okay? I will try to point my heel up towards his head so that I can catch his wrist inside the crook of my knee. because that's what we've been working so far as well, right? So once I'm here, the only thing missing is changing the arms, okay? Now if there's enough space, I can just throw my hand underneath, and that's fine. But obviously, most of the time you're going to be facing people who are keeping their arms really tight, and so you're not working with a lot of space here, right? So now I'm going to connect my hands like a S-grip here, or a C-clamp grip is also what they call it, right? So I'm just pulling my hand through here, bring the other hand through, and now I'm back in the same position like we worked previously, right? So now you can, let's turn the slide to the side. So now we can start rolling, here, come to the top, and go for the finish, right? And here once more. Obviously, I don't want to wait too long. If he's already picking up, it's going to be a bad time to work, right? So if he's like starting to come into the double under, that's the perfect time for me to stick my arm, okay? So my arm goes in, same side under the armpit, on the inside of my thigh, right? Point this leg, arm up towards the ceiling. I'm going palm to palm, and I'm pushing with my elbow towards his head. Okay? This will allow me to create some space so I can bring my other leg over, and now I'm turning towards his side and pulling his arm towards me. Right? So now I create this little chicken arm. Okay? Now I'm going to go in for the C-clamp grip, and I pull my arm through so I can grab my own thigh, and there we are in the same position that we were working. Okay? Turn a little bit again. Boom. Roll. Pull myself up. Okay. 1, 2. Pushing his head away, and now I get to the side here, okay? Now, I'm switching the arms, and we're in the position, and a thing that I like to do to control their posture, right, is to grab their pants, and I keep his arm straight, okay? Now, you will notice, for him to posture up, he needs to bring his base underneath me, okay? So as his knees are closed, now he can really posture up, okay? You guys see this? But if I manage to keep his leg away like this, now if he tries to posture up, it should be a lot weaker. Obviously, there's some specimens out there, but most people will have a struggle posturing up here, okay? Now, I happen to feel, okay, he managed to get his knees pretty close, and he's starting to posture up, okay? Now, what I want you guys to remember is the raw spaghetti, right? If I'm soft spaghetti now, if he postures up, this happens, and you can actually like put some pressure on top of me, and it gets pretty worse from here, okay? So if I keep my legs straight, now if he postures up, watch how my hips are lifting off the floor. Keep going, keep going. There you go, okay? So as he's posturing up here, I'm gonna start bringing my elbow underneath me, okay? So just keep posturing up. There you go. Nice. And watch how I'm bringing my head to the side here. And as I'm on the top, now I feel like he stops posturing up. I'm going to stretch my left leg forward, towards the floor to tip him over and come right on top to the same position we've been working. Okay? So here I can finish. Come back. So, same as before. Switch the arms, and we're here. Okay? Usually I would want to make him roll him forward, right? But because he's making it hard for me and posturing up, I'm making sure my hips are tight, close to his shoulder, and I'm always straightening my leg, okay? As he's bringing me up, I'm bringing my elbow underneath him, and I'm using my head onto the floor here, okay? Now I'm going to stretch my left leg forward and tip him over, so he can come up, and I'm in the same position as before for the finish, okay? One more time. Here, switch, and we're in, okay? Now we start posturing up, I come up here on my shoulder, and I bring my arm under. Use my head, stretch my left hand, style. Here, I like to go with this on the shield, push away, step, and I have it to work, but people bring their arm in, so then I come jumping up, slide through, and then back in. Yes? Opposite and the single on the opposite arm. Okay? Now, as I'm here, I'm going to look to exit my leg in between his legs so I can post it on his hip. Okay? Now, so pretty much collar sleeve, both feet on his hips, and I'll start doing the technique from here. Okay? Now, stepping over his arm. Okay? So I'm bringing my right leg over his arm that I caught, okay, with my hand on the sleeve, and I'm keeping him tight here. Okay? Now, a lot of the times we can expect two different reactions. One, his arm is either on the inside or it's on the outside. If it's on the outside, I might look for bringing my knee on the inside here. If it's on the inside there, I'm gonna throw my leg over instead. Okay? Now, the whole mission here is pretty much either getting my knee here to push his head away, so that I can bring this leg over, or if his arm is on the inside, throw it over here and chop his head down as well. Okay? Once we're here, I'll use this collar grip and this sleeve grip to pull myself up onto my elbow here. Okay? Once I'm up, I'm gonna let go of his collar, use my hand here to go behind his armpit, and then grab my thigh. And now once I'm here, I just fall back and I can let go of his sleeve, and I look for the grip on his pants again. Okay? So here again, we start rolling, and we're in the same position. So once more, you guys can just start from both feet on his hips, collar sleeve here, right? I step over, and now I'm in the position I want, right? Now, if I feel like there's too much pressure on the outside, I can't kick his arm out like this, I'm going to use my knee in front of his neck here, okay? So I try to push his head away, turn my knee to the side, stretch over here, okay? Pull myself up, arm comes behind, and now I can grab my own thigh and fall back into the same position. Now, just to give you guys an example, if I'm here and I feel like I can't do the armpit thing like we did the last one, going in for the double under, I could do this here as well, okay? I can look for the foot on the hip, throw the leg over, step up, boom, and then the same setup from here. Okay, let's try. 1, 2. Also, for example, here, a lot of the times, maybe a spider, that's at least expected. So, what I like to do here is I first remove the spider hook, or I go and grab both hands on his pants here, right? Sometimes it's hard to get this hand all the way there, so I walk myself here, pop it, and now I'm just dealing with this lasso here, okay? So what I'm trying to do here is to use my knee, pop his foot out, okay? So I can grab the belt, I pop his foot out, and then I start walking around. Once I'm here, I can sit back, and you're in the same position. I can work, or if you stay in places, I can work here, look for his palm on the other side, maybe I keep him a little bit up so I can throw my leg over, and now, we go back into the same position. So you guys can really play around with it. Tons of ways to do it. The move has moved way further than what I thought it would do to begin with, so you guys can do it as well, right? Any questions before we proceed? So, here, grab the wrist. Now I like to throw this leg over first, so I'm already onto that side. And I need this space here between the floor and his hand. So I throw this leg over. Now, when I fall, I look for my thigh, and there you have it. You guys will hide this arm under here, right? Already then, I'm looking for this. So then sometimes I will slide this leg over, and as I'm falling down, I'm holding the